Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the poker vlog. It is Saturday, April the 13th. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and we are back at Bellagio. I'm on the list for the 1-3 game as usual, and I've only played one session since the last episode, which was yesterday. I played for about 4 hours yesterday afternoon and I ended up losing about 40 bucks. So still on a downswing, have not posted a winning session since the last vlog. Let's see if we can turn that around today. Let's see if we can get a winning session in here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in Las Vegas at Bellagio. Why not? Why can't we win today? Let's make it happen, guys. And I'm recording this in the car because it is super windy out and I don't think that the audio is going to pick up with all the wind. Plus, there's some live band or concert going on over here. But anyway, that's going to do it for the intro here. I will see you guys at the tables, and let's make it a winning day. Let's win some money here at Bellagio. See you at the table. All right, we've been at the table for about 5 minutes before we look down at pocket tens in the big blind. Now, I know I'm going to get flamed for this in the comments, but I end up seeing 4 players limp into this pot. We got the under the gun player limping, we got middle position player limping, we've got a player in the cutoff limping. Surprisingly, the button and the small blind get out of there, and it's over to me, and I decide to be passive here and check. This, once again, is just some bad mental processes going on in my mind. I'm remembering all the times where I've raised out of position with a hand like pocket tens and just had to give up when we get 4 or 5 callers and the flop is not advantageous. But this time when I check, this time we flop quads. Yeah, we flopped quads, 10, 10, 5. And of course, when you flop quads and you don't raise pre-flop, you just can't get any action. About 5 minutes later, after flopping quads and getting no action, we pick up ace-10 of clubs in the under the gun spot. I'm going to start things off with a raise here. I make it 12 to go, and we get a call from a player in middle position who is obviously a very fishy player. He's got a short stack. He is not well versed in how to look at his cards, as you'll see here in a second. And he doesn't really know too much about the game, but I think he does know that if he flops a strong hand like an ace, he probably wants to run with it. So when we see a flop of ace, king, 10, all diamonds, I go ahead and check here out of position, trying to induce a bet, and he throws out a very small bet of $5. I get a little crazy here, and I raise it up 10x. I go 55. I just don't think he's going to be able to get away from much here. If he's got an ace, if he's got a diamond, if he's got any sort of piece of this board, it's going to be very hard for him to fold. So I'm really just trying to get him to put the rest of his stack in, and I'm trying to make my bet look a little bluffy here. But he folds, and our 2 pair goes down in flames. We don't get any extra value here. Maybe I could have gone with a size like 6x or maybe even 5x. And still gotten some value there, but oh well, we live to fight another day. About an hour goes by before we pick up another hand, and this time we've got the Cowboys. King of spades, king of clubs, we are in the small blind, and we see a raise from an under the gun player who'd been playing pretty conservatively and tight himself, so I would expect he's going to have a fairly snug range here when he raises under the gun. So I fire in the 3-bet, I make it 45 to go, really just targeting all of his ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack type hands, and even worse pocket pairs like queens, jacks, tens. Big blind shows his friends his cards, talks about how he really wants to play this hand, but he gets out of there, and unfortunately the under the gun player pretty much snap folds as well, so we don't get any action here with our Cowboys. As I mentioned in the previous hand, this table had been playing pretty tight, so when I pick up king-9 of spades in middle position, I think I can come in for a raise here and hopefully start to get some action and loosen the table up a little bit. We end up getting 1 caller. The big blind puts in the call, so we're going to go heads up to a flop in position. Pretty good scenario here. And we see a flop that comes down, ace of spades, jack of spades, ace of clubs, giving us a flush draw, but it is a paired board, and it's the top card that's paired. So I want to proceed a little cautiously, but when he checks to me, I'm going to be range betting here about 100% of the time, and that's what I do. I fire out 16, he snap folds, and as you can see, this table is just playing ridiculously tight. Shortly after this hand, I decided to put in a request for a table change. So much of poker is game selection, so I think it's time to look for a better spot here. We are on the list for a table change, and this next hand further illustrates why we need to get off this table. I have ace-king of hearts under the gun. I raise it up to 12. It ends up folding around to the player in the small blind, who's really the only player who's been calling pre-flop. He puts in the call, and the big blind gets out of the way. So once again, we are in position, headed to a flop with a premium holding, and we see a flop come down of 10, 8, 6 rainbow, which should be better for the small blind's range than my range. So when he checks to me, I'm going to fire a continuation bet here, expecting to get called by all of his draws, some of his 10x hands, and we can make some moves on future streets. But he snap folds once again, and you can just see that this table is just playing extremely tight. They're just sitting around waiting for big hands. The sooner we can get off this table, the better. About 45 minutes later, our request finally gets granted for a new table when the original table breaks. So we are on a new table here. We've got a whole bunch of new players. Let's see if they've got more action in store for us. Right out of the gate, we pick up king-queen offsuit on the button, and we see a raise from an early position player. I just go ahead and call. I think you could 3-bet here, but I think with an under-the-gun player raising, it's probably okay to just go ahead and call and go to a flop. And we see a flop giving us top pair with a pretty good kicker. It comes down king 10-7 with 2 hearts. Early position player goes ahead and fires out a continuation bet of 15, and I go ahead and put in the call. Pretty standard stuff here. I don't think there's anything too crazy going on here. I guess you could put in a raise here for a little protection on the flop, but as played, we see a turn card, which is the 8 of diamonds. Slows down and checks, and I check behind, and the river is the 6 of spades. Goes check, check again, and I think we've got a pretty good chance of winning here against a lot of his pairs, but he turns over king, queen offsuit as well, and yeah, it's just going to be a chop. A little anticlimactic there, but what are you going to do? We get a little spicy in this next one. We've got 9-8 of hearts. We're in the cutoff, and we see a raise from a middle position player who'd been raising pretty wide pre-flop. He makes it 15 to go, and the action folds to me. I decided to just put in the call here. Could certainly make an argument for a 3-bet. I think calling is fine as well in position, and we're going to go heads up to a flop in position. And the flop gives us some options, I would say. We see 7-5-4 rainbow with 1 heart. So we've got a backdoor flush draw, we've got a straight draw, we've got a couple overs to the board. So when this player decides to continuation bet for 15, I think we can certainly put in the call. I think we could make an argument for a raise on the flop, but I think it's better to probably try to make some moves on later streets here. So I go ahead and call 15, and we head to a turn card, which is the 8 of clubs. Middle position thinks for a bit longer here on this turn card before putting in another bet. This time it's a $20 bet. So not too much bigger than the continuation bet, pretty small sizing. And I think we can attack this bet here. And attack it is exactly what I decide to do. I raise things up, I make it 65 to go. In retrospect, I'm not sure I really love this raise. I think we did turn a pair. We've got some showdown value. I think we could call and potentially hit our straight on the river, or we could hit trips on the river or something like that and still take this pot down. So I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I think we can fold out a lot of his overs like ace-queen, ace-jack, king-queen, king-jack, ace-10. Hands like that I think are just going to get out of the way. They do have some equity against our hand as well. So let me know what you think. If you like these plays, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. The more you guys hit that like button and the more you subscribe to the channel, it lets me know that you like these types of plays. And I'll try to get into more spots like this on the vlog. He eventually does let it go, and we end up winning a nice little pot here with our move on the turn. Once again, I'm not sure I love it, but it did end up working out for us here, so can't complain too much. I'll take it. We ordered some dinner, and we were eating for the past 45 minutes, playing while we were eating, but we didn't pick up any interesting spots or any interesting hands while we were eating until we looked down at pocket kings on the button. Pocket kings is definitely an interesting hand. We see a raise from under the gun. We see two middle position players call and the cutoff calls. I am not going to be calling $10 with a premium holding like pocket kings. I announce a raise of $80. I think I went a little too large here with my sizing. I think in position I probably could have went 65 or 70. But as play, the under the gun player gets out of the way. Middle position players both fold. And I'm hoping we can at least get one caller here, but no dice. They all get out of the way, and we end up just taking down the dead money with our pocket kings. Not the intended result, but, you know, also not the worst result in the world either. And that brings us to the last hand of the session. We look down at the lovely ladies in the big blind. We've got the queen of clubs, the queen of spades. We see a raise from a player in under the gun +1. She makes it 15 to go. Player in middle position puts in the $15 call. The button puts in the $15 call. And the small blind puts in the $15 call. Now the table had been playing relatively tight to 3 bets, as you saw in the last hand. So I decided to size down just a little bit here, and I make it 55 to go. I still think I probably could go 60 or 65. But the under the gun +1 player pretty much snap calls my 3-bet. She doesn't think too long at all. Middle position player asks me how much I have behind. I think he's just posturing here. Looks like he's trying to not appear like he was weak when he put in the call or something. But eventually he does go ahead and get out of the way. He lets his cards go. And now it's back over to the player on the button. This particular player had been very sticky pre-flop. He's calling almost every raise. And it looks like that's what he's going to be doing here as well. He's counting out the chips. He's thinking about it, and he puts in the call. Small blind gets out of there. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop in a 3-bet pot, out of position. Not the ideal scenario, but let's see what the board brings. See a flop of jack of spades, 10 of hearts, 4 of clubs. Now these players definitely could have pocket jacks or pocket tens, but I'm not going to be afraid of monsters under the bed here. There's about $175 in the middle, and I've only got about 200 behind, so I think I've got one play, and that's to go ahead and rip it all in. I put it in the middle, and the original raiser now goes into the tank. She starts counting out her chips. She starts looking at the board. She starts counting out her chips again. And the more she's counting and the more she's thinking, the more I'm praying for a call, because I think she's got a hand like ace-jack or maybe even king-jack, and I think we're ahead here. She puts in the call, so we're going to go to a run out here. The button gets out of the way, and we see a pretty clean run out. We see the deuce of spades, 5 of spades. If she's got a spade and she's got the flush, I'm just going to flip over the table, but that's not the case. I show the queens, and she insta-mucks, doesn't show her cards at all, and we end up doubling up here. A little bit more than doubling up with all of the dead money that was in the middle. So a nice way to end the session and a nice way to book a win after a long extended downswing. So really happy to take this one down. Really happy to walk away with a win in this session. Hope you guys enjoyed the hands. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you all in the outro. That's a wrap for this session. We played for about 6 hours, about 6.5 hours, 6.5 hours, and we won. All right, we booked a win. First time in a long time. Booked a winning session. In the game for 300, out for 520. That is a profit of $220. We are on the road to climbing out of the hole that we've dug ourselves into. So this is going to be the first of many winning sessions to come, so stay tuned. You can feel it. I can feel an upswing is on the horizon. Next week I am going to Dubai. So by the time you guys see this, I will be in Dubai for a work event. And I'm going to try to get some footage. some fun B-roll stuff from Dubai to include in the next vlog. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up in the next episode after this episode, more than likely, unless it takes me a little bit longer. It's going to be difficult to play poker next week because I'll be in Dubai all week until Saturday, and I get back in Vegas Saturday night, and I'm sure I'll be jet lagged like crazy. And then I'll try to get some pokering in on Sunday when I get back, and see if I can get a vlog out by Wednesday of the following week. But it might be a challenge, so there may not be a vlog after this vlog for 2 weeks. We'll see. We'll see. Don't hold me to that. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode number 44. And if you guys liked it, please do hit that like button. If you are feeling so inclined, please subscribe to the channel. And that's going to do it. I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, good luck at the tables. Peace.